All right, guys. So, in probably one of the worst interviews I've ever seen from a sitting president, Joe Biden basically just shit the bed, okay? That's the only way I can describe it, okay? Diarrhea all over the place, right? Verbal diarrhea all over the place is what that interview with Joe Biden was with ABC's George Stephanopoulos regarding the Afghanistan situation. It is clear, guys, that he has no clue what the hell is going on. They don't have a plan, and they're scared to stand up to the Taliban, okay? But before I start to go off, let's actually take a look at the first clip from this interview in which Biden snaps when asked about the Afghans that were falling from the plane when they was trying to take off, and whether or not, he could have done anything better to fix the situation.
When you look at what's happened over the last week, was it a failure of intelligence, planning, execution, or judgment?
Look, I don't think it was a failure. Look, it was a simple choice, George. When the Taliban, let me put it another way. When you had the government of Afghanistan, the leader of that government getting in a plane and taking off and going to another country, when you saw the significant collapse of the Afghan troops we had trained, up to 300,000 of them, just leaving their equipment and taking off, that was, that's what happened. That's simply what happened.
But we've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
What I thought was we have to gain control of this. We have to move this more quickly. We have to move in a way in which we can take control of that airport. And we did.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this exit could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened.
So for you, that was always priced into the decision?
Yes.
Guys, did you see the way this man snapped when asked about the Afghans who were falling from the airplane? Okay, we all seen the video, right? He's like, that was 4 or 5 days ago. Well, first of all, it was 2 days ago. Second of all, what it matters in terms of how long ago it was, right? We all seen those people trying to get out of there and escape, right? And then Biden says, well, I don't think we could have done anything better. What do you mean you could have done anything better, Biden? Right? You could have evacuated all the American citizens, okay, and our allies in the country before taking out the military, right? Which is probably the main reason we're in this situation in the first place. Because one, you took out the military, you stripped the Afghan army of air support when they were trained to fight with us using our air support, which led to them basically getting overrun by the Taliban in the first place, which was all on you. It was all on your decision. Guys, for goodness sake, who in the world thought it was a good idea to pull out the military, right, before we get all our American citizens out of there? Who thought it was a good idea to stop giving the Afghans air support during the evacuation? Who thought that was a good idea? Who thought these people were ready to fight the Taliban without our help? Just because they had numbers, right? 100,000 of them versus 70,000 Taliban. Look, obviously, the Taliban, they know how to fight, okay? And the fact that you didn't know that they could fight like that shows an intelligence failure, okay? Biden failed. If anything, you take the most conservative approach. You keep the manpower there even if you don't need it, just in case they try you, right? But see, Biden didn't do that. But he takes no responsibility. Tell me, he ain't really making no mistakes. He could have handled it. I mean, guys, even CNN is calling him out on this BS.
Is the panic the lack of clear information. The rumor mill is in overdrive. There's hysteria. You have Taliban fighters with whips, with guns. You have U.S. and U.K. soldiers who are not allowing people in. You have mixed messaging coming through about what kind of paperwork you need and how you can get on flight and where you can go. I mean, it is just an absolute mess. And we heard President Biden say yesterday in his comments to ABC News that this is not a failure. And I think a lot of people outside that airport, particularly those taking the kinds of extreme actions we're just talking about, would like to know, if this isn't failure, what does failure look like exactly?
Guys, ain't it amazing how the mainstream liberal media is destroying Biden on this, right? Even the mainstream liberal media has spent most of his presidency cozying up to Biden's jockstrap, right? Is now just straight up hammering this man, okay? So in this next clip, let's listen to Biden talk about whether or not we're actually going to pull all, 15,000 plus Americans out of Afghanistan for the upcoming withdrawal deadline.
All troops are supposed to be out by August 31st. Even if Americans and our Afghan allies are still trying to get out, they're going to leave?
We're going to do everything in our power to get all Americans out and our allies out.
Does that mean troops will stay beyond August 31st if necessary?
It depends on where we are and whether we can ramp these numbers up to 5,000 to 7,000 a day coming out. If that's the case, they'll all be out.
Because we've got like 10 to 15,000 Americans in the country right now, right? And are you committed to making sure that the troops stay until every American who wants to be out is out?
Yes.
How about our Afghan allies? We have about 80,000 people.
Well, that's not the
estimate. Is that too high?
That's too high.
How
the
many?
estimate we're giving is somewhere between 50 and 65,000 folks total, counting their families.
Does the commitment hold for them as well?
The commitment holds to get everyone out that, in fact, we can get out and everyone that should come out. And that's the objective. That's what we're doing now. That's the path we're on, and I think we'll get there.
So Americans should understand that troops might have to be there beyond August 31st.
No, Americans should understand that we're going to try to get it done before August 31st.
But if we don't, the troops will stay.
If we don't, we'll determine at the time who's left.
And
if there are American forces, if there's American citizens left, we're going to stay till we get them all out.
Guys, does that sound like a president that's sure that he's going to be able to get all the American citizens out? Does it really? Does it sound like a president that's sure that all Americans are going to come home? That don't sound like a sure president to me. That sounds like a president that's hesitant. Because look, I mean, he got woke generals that are basically saying that we don't have the capabilities to go and get Americans out of Afghanistan.
A distinction, Barr, between extracting someone in an in extremis condition or circumstance versus going out and collecting up large numbers of American citizens.
Do you have the capability to go out and collect Americans?
We don't have the capability to go out and collect up large numbers of people, Barr.
Guys, can you believe it? We have sitting generals that are telling the American people that, hey, we don't have the capabilities to go and rescue American citizens from the Taliban, to collect a large number of people and to get them out of that country. We do not have the capabilities, is what he's saying. This is unbelievable. This is coming from sitting generals, guys. Maybe they should have been more worried about the evacuation plan than white rage and critical race theory, right? And diversity and inclusiveness. Maybe they should have been worried more about the evacuation strategy and how to deal with the Taliban. That to me sounds like their priorities were out of place, because if you don't have the capabilities of going and getting American citizens out of Afghanistan, right, to rescue them from the Taliban, what the hell do we have a military for? What do we have one for? Because if there's any situation where you're going to use the military to their full capabilities, this is it. This is it. Meanwhile, we do have American citizens that are stranded in Afghanistan that cannot get to the airport because the Taliban is stopping them.
Stories are Americans are being told, like yourself, from the embassy, whatever's left of the embassy, shelter in place. So have you heard shelter in place? And also they say there are these checkpoints where the Taliban is stopping people saying, Where are you going? Oh, you want to go to the airport? No, not today. Did you see the Taliban at the checkpoint?
Exactly. Today I went through this thing, this issue just today. When I went, I was even the day before yesterday. I went to the embassy. I told the embassy is open before I get the email. When I went there, I saw the Taliban sitting there. So they were. When I saw them, I couldn't give myself that courage to go and ask him, "Hey, I'm an American. I want to go in the embassy." I knew it already, which an American is gone. I didn't got the email until then. I left and I checked the websites because they were just unexpected coming. Today, when I went to the airport, what I saw was all the checkpoints. They were checking. They were not asking, "Where are you going?" If you're going to the airport, no. Well, where you guys are going? Where are you guys going? Where are you guys leaving? This country needs you guys and stuff like that. Like as normal, they just want to be like, they don't let people get closer to the gates. But no one wants to say, hey, I'm an American, I want to go in. So for my safety, for my family's safety, which is already our safety is at risk. We don't have safety anymore. We're all done.
So guys, just so you understand there, basically we have an American citizen, right? Probably multiple thousands of American citizens that cannot get to the airport because the Taliban has checkpoints and are turning them around, literally not letting them leave. And these citizens are afraid to tell the Taliban that they're Americans because they're afraid that they will be hurt. They're afraid they're going to be hurt by the Taliban. And guys, I mean, again, this is a reflection, in my opinion, of Biden's weakness because the Taliban shouldn't even have the cojones to put a hair, to touch a hair on an American citizen's head. Period. Because it should be understood, and Biden should have communicated this, that if you harm an American or you try to trap Americans in Afghanistan, you don't let Americans get out of this country, there will be no more Taliban anymore. You will cease to exist. We will pull back up. Okay, we're going to pull back up. But see, that's the problem. There's no threat of pulling back up. There's no threat that we'll go back in because Biden's obsessed with meeting this imaginary deadline about how we got to pull everybody out by a certain time. When that's not the main focus anymore. That shouldn't be the main focus anymore. The main focus is getting American citizens out. They should come before any refugees come. There should be no refugees on any planes until all the Americans are out of that country. Then you get the refugees, okay? Women and children and people that helped us, okay? You leave the young fighting age men, y'all can stay, right? Y'all can stay. We take the people that we're supposed to take out, and then we get the military out, and then, you know what? Hey, it is what it is at that point. That's what you got to do. But that's not what's happening right now. What's happening is Biden is trying to negotiate with the Taliban from a position of weakness. Now, I know it's complicated, right? I understand that, it's a delicate situation. You don't want any Americans to be harmed in retaliation for, U.S. military action. I get it. But at the same time, again, you only put in this situation because we have been negotiating from a position of weakness. We've shown weakness. We've shown that we're more concerned about pulling out and being done rather than showing that no. We're getting everybody out and we will use military force. So it's best if y'all want to keep y'all lives, right, in the position that you currently have for you to let Americans leave. Right? Because you see, China and Russia, they're not dealing with this situation. Their embassies are still open, right? Their embassies are still open. And guys, I mean, it is even at the point where the Taliban is promising China that, oh no, your embassy will be safe, right? You guys will be safe. We're going to promise your safety. But we can't get the Taliban to promise the safety of American citizens getting to the airport so they can get out of the country. Because I'm pretty sure that it's understood that, China and Russia probably not going to tolerate them, the Taliban, putting their hands on any one of their diplomats or their citizens. Okay? I'm pretty sure it's understood what would happen. But see, for us, I don't think the Taliban has respect for the Biden administration like they have for Putin and Xi Jinping. Okay? I just don't think so. Right? And at this point, guys, Biden is a disgrace, right? At this point, impeachment, 25th Amendment, all options have to be on the table because this is an embarrassment, right? It is just absolutely embarrassing for us to be in this position, okay? I'm embarrassed. Everybody should be embarrassed. We've been embarrassed on the national stage, okay? We just look weak, right? We looking weak, okay? So Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.